going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Doom Eternal, not Let's Play, but review. We finished Doom in the last episode. Make sure to go watch that if you haven't, because it was pretty hype. Last boss, the Icon of Sin, it was pretty dope. With that being said, before I get into the review, once again, I'd like to thank everyone who watched the videos and who showed support for the videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. It makes my job so much more fun, knowing that people out there are enjoying the content that I'm putting out, so keep showing the love. I very much appreciate it. And something to give back to all of you guys, I'm actually doing a giveaway. We'll be giving away a free t-shirt to someone. Qualifications to get into the giveaway: you have to like and comment this video and subscribe to the channel, and we're doing a giveaway until Friday. Be sure to get in before then. We'll pick a comment, we'll tag whoever won, so May 15th we'll be pinning a comment saying, hey, this person won, so you have until then. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So for the Doom review, I have 3 main categories, and then they each have their own subcategories to go along with them. I have gameplay, story, and then music/graphics for the main categories that I'm going to be talking about. We'll start with story. Like, Doom doesn't really need a story for it to be great, as shown by the other games. I've never played any other games, but I know about the other Doom games, and I know that they didn't have much, if any, story. So this game having a story was pretty cool. Like, one of the subcategories for this was just the main story, because to know that there was more than just blood and gore behind everything, it gave it more depth. I took points off of it, because, I mean, if you're gonna put a story, you might as well make it great. And I mean, it was okay, but it could have been better as well. For main story, some of the stuff that I want to talk about are like the level designs. And the level designs, it felt like they got repetitive over time, which is why some of those points go down. Like, you would go fight a wave, then the door would open. Then you'd go discover something, then go fight another wave, and another door would open. And time and time over and over again, that's exactly how it happened. Which is fine, because every encounter felt different. But after a while, like, if you were blazing through everything, then it all sort of meshed together, and you couldn't tell one spot from the other, in my opinion. Another aspect that I said for the story was planet hopping, like involving the main story, was you hop from Earth to Mars to Hell to Realm, where the Con Maker was, and then back to Earth, I think, is where you fought the Icon of Sin. So you hop to, 4 or 5 different places. That was pretty cool. Underneath story, I also wrote characters. So, I mean, you play as a Doom guy and he doesn't really talk, but the characters more meaning like Vega, the ship. I don't know what he was, like your robot or your assistant or something. I'm not really sure what Vega was, but him giving you the tips like, oh, hey, your thing is over there. Oh, hey, I'll make this portal for you. He was pretty cool. Dr. Hayden being the guy to actually get you to Mars and telling you where to go to find the last priest. He was pretty cool. Some of the dialogue that he talked about was pretty nice. It was fun getting to see some other sides of Doom other than the blood and gore. And the Con Maker, not the last boss, because that was the Icon of Sin, but the last boss before the Icon of Sin. She was pretty cool. She gave this game a different level of depth. Like, instead of just, oh, we're gonna go destroy humans because we're demons, it's like, oh, we need to kill the humans in order for us to survive. And if you kill me, then you're ruining my species. So it was like a species versus species thing with the Doom Hunt, with the Doom guy versus her. And I gave it another level, and I thought that was pretty cool. But overall, I gave the story a 3 out of 5, with the main story and the characters together totaling that score. Music and graphics, 5 out of 5. Like, I don't even need to talk about music and graphics were amazing the entire time through. Blood and gore is, it's a very specific type of genre, but this game did it so well that you can't complain about any of it. Like, all the different animations and all the different demons, the way that you could kill them was ridiculous. It was fun, to say the least. Music, 5 out of 5 again. I could sit inside of the Doom Guy ship and listen to the different albums that you collect throughout the missions for hours. Like, every single one of those pieces was amazing. It was phenomenal. If you haven't listened to the Doom soundtrack, you can listen to the Doom soundtrack by itself and still be amazed. Like, that's how good this soundtrack is. It stand alone, you could listen to it and it'd be perfectly fine. So 5 out of 5 for that. And then for gameplay, I have upgrading system, fighting cycle, and platforming as 3 subtopics that make up the gameplay score. So first we'll talk about the upgrading system. The upgrading system, I wrote suit points. We'll get that one out of the way first. The Praetor suits were pretty interesting. They were scattered around the different levels, and you had a couple inside of your ship, and they upgraded towards the different things. So you could upgrade your ice bomb, your grenade, your exploration, and your flame belch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that was pretty interesting. So you couldn't get overpowered just by being the Doom guy. You had to actually go out and explore stuff, which I like, because it awarded exploration in the game. It's like, you could have just ran through the entire game. It would have been a lot harder if you didn't explore, but you could just run through the game and kill the demons. So the fact that they were awarding you for going and exploring with these little soup points. And it's not like they were in the most ridiculous hard reach spots, because I mean the soup points in actuality they're not that helpful unless other things are helping them. So the soup points not being that far out of reach, but still you have to go explore for them, was pretty. I like that a lot. This game, it loved to reward you for exploring. So like another one of the things that I wrote down was runes. So runes you had to go and explore for. Minus the first one they gave you for free to explain what runes are to you. After that, it was, oh, you got to go and explore, and then you unlock another little power that it helps give you. So like, I think in my gameplay, in the Let's Play that I did of Doom, you do glory kills faster, glory kills fill dash, and you don't die instantly. Like you get an extra life essentially. Like it slows down time and it lets you get out of harm's way with 1 HP. Stuff like that. Like you go and explore and you get rewarded for it by getting these different power-ups that help you in the gameplay aspect, which was pretty amazing. For the same reason, the runes by themselves are not much, but like the runes and the soup points all together, it all meshes and helps each other so that you live longer and you can fight more without dying, was pretty fantastic. The crystals, so the Sentinel crystals is another one that I wrote down. Again, Sentinel crystals, you go and those unlocked the different, your health, your ammo, and your armor. Yeah, they gave you more. So like if you picked armor, then your armor would go up by 25 points. If you picked health, your health would go up by 25 points. And each thing had 2 little nooks in it. So like if you picked health and then it was linked to an armor one, then you would get both and they would give you an extra little power, which was pretty phenomenal. Because it not only incentivized you going and exploring for stuff, then you had to pick wise. It's like, oh, you could get all the health upgrades, but now they're all scattered all over the place and you don't have the special powers. Or, oh, you could pick health and armor. If you don't necessarily want armor, but you want the power up, that's what you have to sacrifice. You have to pick the crystal and then pick the armor to get the power. Stuff like that. Made it seem like you had choices in this game, and that was pretty cool. And finally, for the upgrades, the weapon system. So the little, I forget what they're called, but they're like the little robots that you would find scattered throughout the levels. And some of them were exploration, and some of them were just like through the missions. Like they gave you a couple freebies, which was cool. But then you also had to go and explore for a couple, which was also cool. And they made your weapons significantly better. Like with the normal shotgun, you got the auto shotgun or the sticky bombs. What was some other ones? Like for the rocket launcher, you got the lock-on. Stuff like that. It made it really interesting. It changed the dynamic of the weapons that you were using, so it wasn't just the normal weapon anymore. Having that extra twist in the weapons was really, really cool, because it made the shotgun not just a close-range weapon, but you could also use it at far range as a grenade launcher now. Or the minigun, instead of being slow and, you know, having to stay stable with it, you could transform it into the tower gun and move around just as fast as you would move around with a shotgun, but be way more deadly. Stuff like that is what made the upgrading system so interesting to me in this game, and I didn't know coming into it that it would be like that, but the fact that it was like that is what made it even better. Going on to the next topic, I have the fighting cycle. So the fighting cycle, what I mean by that is like how everything fed into one another. So for example, one of my under topics for the fighting cycle is the chainsaw. So the chainsaw, if you had 3 charges on the chainsaw, you could kill one of the big boy titans, or one of the big boy demons, so meaning like the snake guy, or fat guy, or the Doom Knight, people like that, or the Revenant. You could kill them with the chainsaw. So that was one aspect of it. Like you could get rid of enemy that's harassing you a lot, and that gets rid of them, boom, instantly. But another cool thing that the chainsaw did was that it refilled your ammo, more or less, for the most part. So you would chainsaw down an enemy and then you would get more ammo, which in turn lets you fight more. That's, you see what I'm saying, the fighting cycle. So you chainsaw, you get ammo, you can fight more. You run out of ammo, you chainsaw, you get more ammo, and the cycle keeps continuing. Going into the next one, I have the grenades. So the grenades being your normal grenade, you know, you shoot it, boom, it blows up. But the other one being the ice bomb. The ice bomb was very interesting because it froze enemies. And not just, you know, maybe you would think, oh, it's just going to freeze some of the smaller enemies. No, any enemy in the game, it would freeze. Maybe besides bosses. No, even then, it still froze, like the Doom Hunter. It froze him. The Marauder, it froze him. No, it might have not frozen the Marauder. I never tried because that guy was terrifying. But the Ice Bomb froze everything, and then you could upgrade the Ice Bomb. The fighting cycle, what I was saying is like, so you would throw an Ice Bomb, boom, it freezes everyone. Then you could throw a grenade, boom, and it blows up everyone. And then your problem is solved. Or you could freeze them, boom, then you can go up and chainsaw them, because now that they're not chasing you, you have an easy chainsaw. And the fighting cycle continues. It was amazing how this game played into itself. Having said that, the next topic being the flame belch. So the flame belch, again, feeds into the fighting cycle. You're running out of armor, well, guess what? You use the flame belch, boom, now people are on fire. One of the powers that the flame belch gave you was that if someone was on fire and you killed them, they dropped armor. So you could use the flame belch and then kill someone, boom, and they explode and give you all this armor. Or you set someone on fire, you throw an ice bomb, they're frozen, they're spitting out armor, and then you can throw a grenade, boom, killed 4 or 5 different enemies for free, essentially. You didn't have to spend a single ammo. You just have to wait a couple seconds for your stuff to recharge, and boom, the fighting cycle continues. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal this game was. And lastly, I have the sword, so the Crucible. You don't get it till later in the game. It's a one-shot on everything. So the sword had 3 charges on it, and this doesn't necessarily feed into the other ones. It was just something that helped you along the way. So like if you were out of ammo and you didn't want to chainsaw someone because you were out of gas, let's say, and then all your grenades were recharging or something, like something utterly ridiculous like that, you had 3 charges on the sword where you would pull it out and you'd go up to any demon and go slice, and they're dead instantly. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Every demon minus the Marauder and the Doom Hunter were instantly killed by it. So it didn't necessarily feed into the fighting cycle like the rest of them did, but the fact that it helped you fight on another level, it's like, okay, I'm having specific trouble with this one demon, bang bang, done, get out of my face, now I can move on. So I guess in that aspect it helped in the fighting cycle. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this one problem so I can continue the fighting cycle. It made the fighting in this game, it gave it a different level, it gave it a different dynamic, which was pretty cool. Like, oh man, I've been struggling with this one guy specifically. Like, as soon as I get to this specific spot in the wave, then I start running into trouble. So you pull out the sword and go bow bow, now you're gone, and now I can continue going on with my life. Finally, for gameplay, I wrote platforming as one of the subtopics. So platforming, so there was a couple puzzles, if you didn't know, in Doom. You would have to solve specific stuff, and not necessarily solve like, oh, I gotta put this there, I gotta do this like that. No, you'd have to platform. You'd jump and you'd climb stuff and you'd swing off of like monkey bar sort of type things, and it would take you to different levels, you know, higher or lower, and then you'd have to solve a puzzle of you'd have to punch something or you'd have to shoot something, and then everything would connect and then move you on to the next part of the game. But they also integrated the platforming into combat, so like you could swing off the monkey bar to get to a higher ledge to have the advantage on people, you know, the demons underneath you, then you could shoot down on them, and it gave you an advantage in that way. Or there was a dash in the game, so the platforming, if something was too far, you got a couple dashes, and now instead of being stuck halfway in the air, you double dash, and you can grab onto the ledge and you're golden. They brought dashing into the combat so that like if you're fighting someone, and they're coming too close to you, you can dash backwards, or you can dash to the side and make them miss their shots and keep the fighting cycle continuing. So like I said, it all plays into itself, which made Doom, it made it so much more special than what I was coming into this game thinking. I was thinking coming into the game, yeah, run and gun, but it did run and gun on an entirely different level. I wasn't expecting to be able to platform in battle. I wasn't expecting to use so many different weapons in battle. I wasn't expecting the variety of the weapons to be so different. And when I say variety, I mean like the weapon upgrades. Like I wasn't expecting a shotgun to turn into a grenade launcher, or a rocket launcher to become a homing missile, stuff like that. So this game, it just played on itself time and time again, and it made it even more better every time. Every time I did something new, every time I unlocked something, every time I upgraded something, it just felt like a new experience to me. And for that reason, I gave Doom a 4.5 out of 5. I felt like the only reason it's a 4.5 and not a 5 is because of the story. Like if you're gonna add a story, you can do better. They could have added more into the story. The fact that it's there made it interesting. It gave it an extra dynamic besides just the blood and gore. But if you're gonna do it, why not go all the way? For that reason, it got a little bit penalized. But I mean, you know, this game is fantastic. If you haven't played it, I 100% recommend it. $60, worth it, in my opinion. This game is still fantastic right now. Like it only came out maybe a month and a half ago. The end of March, so I say pick it up. I say give it a try. With that being said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the social medias down in the description below. The giveaway, like the video, comment the video, subscribe to the channel, and you have till Friday. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.